You just sneezed and flew 10 feet in the air.
Really? It felt higher than that. You're an airbender.
Sure am.
Giant light beams, flying bison, airbenders. I think I got midnight sun madness. I'm going home to where stuff makes sense.
Ahoy. AJ was muted again.
Fuck, I was muted again. Oh man, I was talking real good to myself. I was saying, what is up, people? We here to discuss more Avatar. And I had to leave that I had hold on. I had to leave that what was it? The Ike Turner. I had to leave that up there. All right, anyway. What's up, Gord? The only other panelist, because Jana, she just popped up in the chat. Oh.
Hello, Jana.
Speak of the angel, she will not be here tonight. She doing shit and dealing with shit.
Don't worry, Jana. We're looking for those frozen tree frogs or swamp frogs or whatever.
Oh man, yeah. Shoot, we're a little late.
You just suck on one of those and you feel better.
Hey man, how you feeling about this episode? You excited? Jana was excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
It's I mean, the excitement is all is all for the discussion, not so much for the episode itself. But but yeah, it's this should be entertaining. I think this was them making an attempt at doing something high concept, and
okay,
and it's sort of this is sort of the first of a 2-episode arc, because obviously they don't resolve the major issue until the next episode. So this is a 2-episode arc.
I had started watching the next episode, but I couldn't do it. There was too much going on, too much too fast.
I recall the first time I watched this series telling myself I can't do it. But I did it.
Oh my goodness. It was just, we'll get to it. I kind of want to just end the stream just now, because we got to save this conversation for Jana. I want her to be in on this. This was some real cool stuff happening. And she said it in the message. And I'm like, okay, again, I can't just sit here and shit on this show. It does some things that are pretty cool.
It does things. it does some things.
It does some things. It's
It
being a show.
it's yeah, like I said, this is one of the high concept things from the cartoon that they're attempting to take on. I know we brought up last week, they had a little mini foray into the spirit realm when Aang was talking to Kyoshi back in episode 2, and that was really bad. It was
Mhm.
just basically him talking to a woman with a big pink overlay over the screen, which was really bizarre and seemingly low budget. This time they're going into the spirit world without the pink filter. So
Mhm.
that's interesting. Yeah, as for what they get up to there, how it's executed. It let's just say they probably they had some decent ideas here, but the execution is questionable, to
Yeah.
say the least.
All right, man. We're talking around it a lot. Just getting these people's just getting them ready, getting them
Yeah.
oiled, getting them lubed, getting them juiced up to
Mhm.
go ahead and just give it to them how we about to. This show gave it to me.
How's the cake in this show?
Yeah,
There's I wouldn't worry so much about the any such dessert buffets in a show like this. The people are too young for the most part. I guess Suki, she was, of age enough and cute, but that was a while back.
June. Uncle Iroh doesn't think so in this version, though.
Yeah, I forgot June was in this. That's They handled that strangely a little bit. I like the actress they cast. I mean,
Yeah,
she's close enough. I liked her look, and the actress seemed pretty cool.
yeah.
She's a little bit more prominent in the follow-up episode for this. Like I said, this is a 2-episode arc.
Okay, I didn't watch the next episode.
Hmm.
Not in full. I got through like 5 minutes and I had to stop. But yeah, man, the way they handled her, which I guess we will see it. It's the case with the last episode where they were just mashing a lot together.
Yeah, this one they mash a couple of things together along with uh some ideas of their own. Uh like I said, it's not terrible ideas, but execution is questionable.
Yeah.
And it's the start of the episode is really is a little jarring because it's a bit of a time jump from the previous episode. I don't know exactly how long because they make allusions to things they've done that we didn't see. Um, and literally they pick up on the run from the Fire Nation. I mean, they're just running from them. And it's like, oh, okay. What happened? We don't know. They just ran into some Fire Nation people. It's like, oh, okay.
All right. I'm
So
yeah, as we go through it, then I'll see because I did kind of have an issue at the beginning, but what was happening on the last episode?
the last episode, Omashu is where I guess, Aang convinced
The
Boomy
boomy stuff.
to not kill himself, I guess. And then they end the episode with, "Oh, the Fire Nation's gonna invade, but we have time to, slide down the mail thing." So it
Hmm.
ends on a pretty light note, which is a bit strange. And then all of a sudden, it's like, "Oh, the Fire Nation's attacking them." It's like, "Oh, okay, how'd that happen?"
Okay. So that was the last thing that happened. So I would say maybe them leaving Omashu, then they maybe ran into some soldiers.
I thought
Um,
that at first, but I don't think that's what's happened because when they're talking to each other, they bring up very briefly a couple of things that we have not seen that
okay.
suggests that there's a little bit of time between here and there. Like like Katara makes a little crack about Sokka's odd dating habits, and he brings up some girl that he I guess was trying to hook up with that
Okay.
was
Okay.
Fire Nation, and I was like, okay, well this is stuff that we haven't seen, so I'm guessing that it's meant to suggest that they've been traveling and we're picking up with them running into some soldiers, but they're not particularly explicit. It's I don't think they're close to Omashu. I think they've actually gotten a bit of a ways away from there.
Okay. Because I want to say I think which we were talking about when they showed some events that would have happened from the pirate episode if it would have happened.
Yeah, and because also in this episode they make reference to the pirates. They make a little reference to the Great Divide.
Oh,
Huh?
she's just done the ice disc technique. I don't think she has.
Uh,
At this point.
Yeah, like she says she saw firebenders, or she saw earthbenders, which I know. I think I remember that happening in the previous episode, maybe, and I guess like she picked that up from them, and I'm like, okay, I don't necessarily mind that as an idea. That's not so terrible,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess this is
We're
the
not.
first time she used it in a fight.
Yeah, we're not seeing the training. We're not seeing the progression. It's just
Yeah.
happening as the show needs it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's when she's doing the disc, which did look cool.
And to the show's credit, I guess like that's a little, because I know I'm pretty sure in the cartoon, like Katara attempts that when they get to the North Pole when she's in her fight with what's his
Yeah,
name?
that's what I was gonna say. She had more resources to make it happen.
So here I guess they actually do. I kind of thought that was a decent idea. It's like, oh, she saw someone else do it, and now she's trying it herself. I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with that. That's
Mhm.
fine. I mean, granted, Katara started off a little bit further along in her learning when the cartoon started than here, where she started kind of at zero. But I didn't think that was too bad an idea. I was like, yeah, she picked that from someone else. That's cool. But yeah, they're on the run here. They get away, and
That's when
Aang's
she's
like,
talking.
"Oh, your bending's getting sharp, and you're learning your own moves. That's neat."
Yeah, I don't see you train, but I see you improve, and I like it.
Yeah.
The spirits have touched you, Katara. They do say some shit like that. That's probably where I got it from just now. The round face. The round face is a bender.
Yeah. She's like, I have been feeling more confident, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Little clunky on the dialogue, but not horrible, I guess. And then this is where Sokka's like, how was I supposed to know she was a Fire Nation person? And I'm like, okay. That's where I kind of got the clue. I was like, oh, I guess we've jumped ahead a little bit. It's their way of saying we're not doing the Great Divide and all that stuff, which I'm like, okay, I get it. That episode's pretty bad.
Well, since you said that, I like the episode. It showed me that he was willing to lie. And talking about this June stuff, going back and watching that episode, I guess that town they made like perfume and scents and stuff, and they showed him pick up something, smell it, rub it on himself, and like hide it in his sleeve. So it's like, oh, so Ira was willing to steal. So I'm like, it shows us these like flaws that these characters have. They're not just these perfect Nickelodeon childlike characters. I mean, there's war happening at the same time. So, but yeah, so I like the Great Divide.
I don't hate any episode of the show. I'd more just call the Great Divide probably the most filler of all the episodes, because
I feel that
it's literally the one. It's one of maybe two episodes of the show that you could remove entirely and nothing changes. Like it really has no effect on the show. Really, it's like you wouldn't miss anything if you got rid of it. I mean, you literally could do the same character development, the same story beats, and you'd be fine. So it's the closest thing to a useless episode. I don't think it's a bad episode. It's funny, it's entertaining enough, but yeah, it doesn't add really all that much.
I completely forgot to address the chat. My fault, y'all here, and shit, a lot of y'all don't even watch this show. So that's what's up. Y'all just here to hear us talk about it. Probably here for Jana. She's not here, so some of y'all might start tiptoeing out, hitting the SpongeBob meme. I'm going ahead and get up out of here if y'all know about that. But my bad.
No Jana banana. That's no potassium. Then we're
Yeah,
out.
it's like yeah, we didn't have there was already no face. Now we don't even get the sultry feminine voice. So nah, sorry fellas, pull your pants up. The rookie. I'm mixed on this one so far. I'm 3 episodes in.
Mixed is a lot nicer than I can be.
Yeah, I'm mixed. Overall, it's trash to me. But anyway, I don't know. There's some stuff that somebody was talking about this with the X-Men 97 stuff, and I'm just thinking to myself, it's like, yeah, some of that stuff look cool, but I think we've had pretty cool, almost perfect entertainment already. Now I need some perfect. Like the game has been figured out. Okay. I need to see the next evolution in media in making good content, or just more of the same, just modernized and not in the way that they mean it.
Yeah, I'd settle for pretty good at this point, given what we've had over the last few years.
Yeah.
Because we're along, like, anyone who's streamed with me talking movies before knows that I'm not a person who's especially stingy about handing out a 10 out of 10, because to me that's just saying, such and such is a masterpiece, not that it's perfect.
Mhm.
I don't think I've applied that score to any movie or show since 2019, which is a pretty long lull for me. Normally a year would have maybe one or two of those if I saw enough films. I haven't seen anything in the last 3+ years that I would say is that. I
Yeah.
mean, now granted, maybe I mean, my standards probably have raised since then, but I don't even think it's that. I've never even felt the inclination to give anything that over the last several years, because I'm like, I don't think I've seen a movie or a show since, in that time frame that I would call a masterpiece.
No, there hasn't been.
There's some good, there's some great. I mean, there's a couple of amazing things in that mix, and that's fine. I'm happy about that, but I have not been blown away to the level to where I'd be like, okay, this is a modern masterpiece. The 2020s finally have one. I haven't seen anything like that so far. Now, granted, there's a lot of content out there that I've heard is amazing that I have not watched. But I mean, there's some really popular shows out there I have yet to check out. I know I know Arcane is supposed to be amazing, and I'm going to be checking that out pretty soon. So I've heard that's fantastic, but even that I haven't seen yet. Wow, Cynthia.
And let's see
I,
what he said before I respond. You go ahead and respond to the comment.
no, it's just he made a crack about it. He goes, last film he really enjoyed was Bros. It's like
Oh, okay.
I'm like the last person who would ever watch Bros.
No,
I only know
respect.
one person who's seen that.
That's funny. I'm ashamed to admit that one of my best performing videos was about bros, and I didn't even
Really?
watch it. Yes.
So you saw that?
No, I didn't. Fuck
Oh,
no.
okay. I was like, the only person
Uh,
I could think of who I think saw it was, I think Vex said she saw it, but not even that I'm not 100% sure.
nah, bro, I'm not watching that. All right, bro. Let me
Nah.
play Rookie. This is what you get, Rookie. This is you on Black Angus.
Huh? And then
You gotta start looking at the bright side.
You don't know the words.
Yeah.
You think you make
Show
a
you right.
point.
And y'all
If I
niggas
go
are
the
gay.
window to the wall.
And of course, I'm Riley.
Oh my gosh.
All right, I'm starting over from the top. I have to address it. I can't go through the very top. I'm just gonna say the names. Y'all saying stuff. Thank you, people. Zax was the first one here. Big Daddy Zax. Thank you, sir. I couldn't think of anything weird and gay adjacent to say. It was gonna be something shoulder related, rubbing them down. I don't know who was gonna do the rubbing. It got weird. What up, sentient dildo? My comment section, my little arrows just froze. It won't allow me to go up. Yeah, what's happening? Well, that one's messed up. Gore, there you go. In for Jita. New, not new, but come through here and there. Appreciate you.
Ahoy.
Gooch, Diabolical Souls. What up, bro? Yo, what's up, everyone? He refused to watch this show. Come on, Gooch. You could beat Uncle Iroh. If you don't watch shit, Gooch, then how will you ever discern what is great? Your knowledge will become rigid and stale. Something like that.
Yeah.
I'm working. I'm trying to convince him. Flaccid. How's the cake in this show? Gord, you already responded to that. Yeah, it's a lot of kid cake in here. It's a lot of
Yeah.
cupcakes. um, y'all hear me clicking? Rookie said some stuff. Subzax. Yeah, there's a lot to say. Honestly, yeah, on episode 1. Cajun Core, what up, bro? I'm here to support Black. I'm saying like that because there's 2 C's. Content creators. I'm doing my part. Thank you. You're doing your part in stopping Asian hate for watching these Asian actors perform shittily.
Yeah.
Or you didn't watch the show. You're just watching us. But thank you for that.
So
Ban
that means you're supporting Asians adjacently.
There you go. Indirectly. Ban Jana, now Spark2 says ban Jana for not being on. We can't, man. It's the only we got to get the simps here, you know. And then we need our Katara of the group, bro. We're trying to do something over here. Undead, rotten brain, you wouldn't understand. Arcane, not responding, dildo. I don't watch Arcane. All right, there you go. That's everybody. 14 people here though. More of this. So Appa is pure transportation.
Mm-hmm. Still not really a character, just there. He's a vehicle.
Yeah, they were just running and we're going to escape because Appa, the last airbender. Spirited Away. Funny title.
Yeah, we're not in any way trying to mooch off of Miyazaki there. No.
Oh, I got a Miyazaki clip. This clip, the reason I got this, this is because this is what I say to the mindless consumers who just, I don't know. Like, yeah, we're watching a shit show, okay, but we're watching it for free. And we want to see how the shit's being adapted. So.
Come on, quit eating! Let's get out of here!
They think they're watching good stuff now. I need more.
That's such a good movie.
It was freaky.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't see it until like late teens, college.
Yeah, it's like Japanese Alice in Wonderland, but better. I quite like Spirited Away.
It's still too freaky for me, but that's just all the Japanese stuff.
That's honestly one of those movies I'd probably give a 10 out of 10. I love that movie. I think it's fantastic.
From what I remember, like things don't make sense to me. Things just happen. Bless the Asia, bless the round face.
Yeah.
That's not cool to play clips of Don like that. AJ, who's the other one? Don and who? What was we doing? Oh yeah, Avatar.
Oh yeah. But yeah, they've come down here because Aang spotted that this area of the forest which is torched, and he has some pretty cringy dialogue here where he's doing the self-doubt thing, where he's like, how can I save these forests when I don't even know what I'm doing? And he's like, gosh, I'm like, how many times is he gonna repeat that? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, my gosh, dude.
Like, I'm just a kid, fuck up.
Yeah. He's like, how many, I think he says like, how many forests have had this happen to him since I've been away? It's like, I don't know. It's like, that's happened to other avatars before too. I don't think they answer the call to every burning forest. There's wildfires out there. I'm sure they don't. It's not like a disturbance in the forest that they feel and can fast travel over there and stop every time. Just chill, dude. It's okay.
I mean, you say that, but maybe they can. Depends on the avatar because of the spirit burning, the Heibai
they can space time bend.
Like, I'm saying they could feel it. Okay, but this would be in the cartoon. In this, no, they see the Heibai in the actual in the spirit world. But in the cartoon, he was there because his force was damaged.
Well, yeah, but he's literally in the area. I don't know if he would feel that from If it were to
Yeah.
say if it were to happen like thousands of miles away, I'm not so sure he'd feel that. And even if he could, probably wouldn't be much he could do about it.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying, do you? I guess just messing around with it because I can't think of an occurrence where it did of it. But do you think an avatar who was more spiritually gifted, more in tune, like could feel like, okay, this winter solstice or this time is at this point, this the spirit and the physical worlds are like merging. I think it's possible.
I mean, it's possible they could feel certain disturbances like that, but given what happens in nature in general, I think it'd be one of those things like it'd be kind of like that scene in Bruce Almighty where he's hearing everybody pray at once. And
Yeah.
it's like, gosh, you'd be hearing everything at once. That'd probably make you go a little crazy. So I'm guessing you'd probably have to tune that out, and it would be limited to when you're near something you can stop or something that just happened that you didn't stop.
So what's funny is I'm thinking if an avatar did that, but it had like the Hancock response, where it's like he's just gonna drink and be like, "Look, I can't save everybody."
It's like, hey, that's not an unreasonable position, y'all.
Yeah, everybody gets one. Oh, didn't try to play that YouTube. I'm sorry, Netflix. So who was it? Actually Momo finds the little nut acorn,
Yeah.
which he has no character either. He's just there to be cute.
He's pet number
Um,
2.
Pet number 2, yeah. Well, Op is not a pet, he's just transportation.
Mhm.
Momo's the pet.
Yeah.
So yeah, that sucks, but
And then Katara gives the night is darkest just before the acorn or something like that.
you know what? I mean, it would have been kind of cute if he would have actually put the nut in his hand or like in his little foot and like flew it over to Aang.
Yeah.
Just like more interaction, but this was just like weird. He walked
Yeah, he
over
could have
to
dropped it
her.
off, and then Katara could have shared her little tidbit of grandma wisdom. And
Oh, bro, it would have been cute as fuck. No homo. Okay, chat. Don't
no,
pay that
yeah,
me.
no Momo.
No, no homo. But if he would have like dropped the acorn off, or maybe if he gave it to her and he could have flew up in the tree, and you could have saw some like weird turtle bird, whatever the fuck they got in the Avatar world, like her babies are there, so it's like the animals are coming back to the forest, and there's just been more interaction, more making me feel like the world is real.
Yeah, and then all the animals start bobbing their heads up and down. They break out in a little song. And
It would have been.
did I just have a stroke, Nas? Nas, put it this way: I am sacrificing sleep to be on this stream, so I am on about 4 hours of sleep. I literally just woke up, so
We're talking about
I have
Disney.
not 100% got my bearings yet, man.
We're talking about Disney-fying Avatar.
Yeah.
I need that though. Momo messing with the little babies in the nest, and then a mom chasing them away. Oh, it would have been so cute.
Oh.
Oh, all right, keep going. Acorn. Sokka, what are you doing? That's okay. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
and
hurt you.
Sokka here, yeah, this is where he sees a little girl who's, I guess, been walking around the forest, and she's scared, she's nervous.
Don't
And he's
trust
like,
it.
"No, it's okay. I'm not a creeper. It's fine."
This I'd have been like, man, this is a goddamn grudge out here. You seen
Yeah,
grudge, right?
they do a little bit of dialogue repurposing from the next season, where they take dialogue from the episode where in like late in season 2 where he's doing like the haikus and stuff, because he literally says to her, "My name is Sokka. It's pronounced with an aka," and I'm like, "That's from season 2." But it's fine. I didn't expect that they would even show that in the show ever.
What? I did not catch that, but that was the filler episode.
Yeah, they actually repurpose a little bit more dialogue. I'm just trying to remember what it is, but yeah, he's basic. I mean, I don't even mind the way they utilize it here. He's trying to, let the girl know that it's okay. Not gonna hurt you. It's fine.
Mhm.
And yeah, gives her her little weird low budget doll back.
Little voodoo doll.
Yeah, her brother gave
Grudge.
her a voodoo doll, which is that's that's a weird gift. She probably like, oh, my brother's so nice. It's like, oh no, your brother probably was like any other sibling. He didn't like you, and he had a voodoo doll of you. He was like, yeah. No, he seems nice. He seems nice.
It makes me think of that. Have you seen what is it? Scary Movie? Which one was with those Grudge kids? The one with
I don't remember which
Cindy
scary
main
movie.
character.
I don't remember which one of the scary movies had the Grudge kids. I didn't watch all of the scary movies. They weren't really my speed. I thought they
No,
were only okay. I
I
thought the second
definitely
one was pretty good.
understand. But it was just this weird part where they were just saying like Japanese words, but it didn't mean anything. And when he disappeared, he was like, Toyota, Mitsubishi. And then he like disappeared. So it's like that's just what I see this little kids. And she's some evil spirit in the forest. But she's not that. She's a real little girl that's just out there wandering on the outskirts of the city when Shere Khan can come out of nowhere and snatch her ass up.
I think that's Scary Movie 4.
I think it is 4. And then the dad says later, like, "Oh, I was looking for you, even though I was just in the house. I was nowhere in the woods." Look at him, face because of that right there.
That's the face of relief in the
That's
bathroom.
that's not soccer, man. It's not soccer.
Yeah, probably have to scrub forward a little bit more. We've pretty much covered this whole scene.
Man, where did the subtitles go?
Yeah. Gasp.
So then she runs from the girl. Like, that should be more inviting now that you see a girl, or you should be more comfortable. I guess she didn't realize it. She was just like, another person, I'm scared. Bro,
Yeah,
where's the subtitles? Huh?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, there we go.
Well, before that, I thought it was before it. We'll see. Yeah, I think he already said it was like, what were you? Anyway, man.
Yeah, he's like, oh, where were you? It's like, why weren't you looking for her? Why are you at home still?
Yeah,
come on, Dad, parent up.
Another terrible father.
My gosh.
He's telling them, my son is Shion. So this is some more made up stuff. I don't recall him being an actual character. The dude in the village just told him the Heibai has been coming and taking people away in the cartoon. Mm-hmm. So yeah, this guy that he's talking about, this whole little story with this little girl and this dog, I think all that's made up, right, Gord?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they do allude to people in the town having been taken in the cartoon. This one, it's it's just telling it a little bit differently. I mean, and it's fine, how they're doing that. That's that little setup. It's okay. That's fine. They're fine in this town, and like the firebenders are of course oppressing them, which that's nothing new. But they're like, and the angry spirit Heibai, and the people are disappearing. It's like, oh, okay. Which it's kind of odd how they mashed that with other things later on, but we'll get to that. This part I found pretty frustrating because he's basically like, they're tracking the avatar and he's like, well, I did hear this thing about some kids playing with ice, but they're probably mistaken. And Zuko's like, he's like, you heard of some kids playing with ice in a place where there is no ice? Basically, like, you didn't think to report that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm totally on Zuko's side. That's pretty stupid, dude. Like, you're all tracking the avatar who's with a waterbender. That's pretty dumb. Like, that's pretty dumb.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that seems pretty contrived that you'd make this guy that idiotic, but okay.
You know what? He did say that, and correct. I was on Zuko's side as he's like explaining that. It's like, yeah, that's pretty dumb, but yeah, they made it happen to advance the story. But then later on, I think it's in the same episode, like this dude gets like fed up, and he doesn't really talk back. He speaks up, and I'm like, okay, are y'all trying to build up it's like he's speaking up. He's tired of Zuko's shit, but at the same time, it's like, okay, well, this was pretty retarded what you did. So is this like build up from like previous episodes, or you mad from this occurrence earlier where you didn't report this to him?
Yeah. I mean, I was like, dude, that's it's like you got nothing to. It's like you've got nothing to feel, slighted over here. It's like, yeah, you were dumb. You didn't report something that pretty obviously should have been reported. I mean,
Yeah.
you felt compelled enough to say something about it at this point. You should have said something there. But I was like, that's a little too dumb as far as I'm concerned. But okay, it's like you could have just as easily just had him say, yeah, there's reports of them someone seeing some kids who were playing with ice.
Yes,
And maybe, and
199.
if you're wanting to still have that dynamic where him and Zuko aren't getting along, you could have just had him not thank him or something like that, and you didn't have to make this guy that stupid right there. I was like, you're not really doing a good job saying Zuko, because they're going for the dynamic that Zuko's a bit in the wrong, and that's kind of pushing this guy, away from him, and creating a rift between them. I'm like, you deserved that time a lot.
I didn't see what Nas dildo talking about Nas getting the popcorn, but so this is yes, it Bratty Azula is happening. So
Yeah.
so she's talking about working with no support, forgotten little corner of the world. She's talking about Zhao, like he's making things happen with little resources. I've always admired how you manage your commanders.
This dialogue is so bad. It's I really dislike this dialogue. It comes off as very brown nosy, and his dialogue. I don't like the dynamic they've created at all with
Yeah.
Azula and him, where he's trying to make her jealous of her brother and stuff. I'm like, that doesn't go over well when you've banished him. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Uh,
Well,
and I feel like they're trying to make Azula a little more sympathetic, and I really don't like that. I kind of feel like them pushing Azula into the first season was just a bad idea altogether. I really don't think they should have had her in this show. I think you just focus your attention on, you know, pretty much what the cartoon had in season one, and you probably could have adapted more of it and done it a lot smoother. But
yeah, they tried to do it quickly because I think as she's revealed, was it her following the avatar?
yeah, they don't show her even begin to follow the Avatar until season 2. They introduce her literally the last shot of the first season. That's when they introduce her.
Okay,
And
so
yeah,
what I'm thinking about when she was following them in the tanks and it was following Appa's fur.
oh yeah, that's several episodes into season 2. Yeah, and
Okay.
that's kind of the first time they realize we're being followed by somebody, and that's Team Avatar's introduction to Azula.
Okay. Okay, but we see her before. Okay. Um well anyway, I'm not gonna go there then. I was thinking of
Yeah,
something different.
they use the first few episodes prior to that in season 2 to kind of build up who she is and what she's about, because they first have her encounter Zuko and Iroh, and that gives us an idea of, oh, okay, this chick's powerful, but she's pretty evil. And then they have her, May, and Ty Lee start chasing them, and they're introduced to her. But yeah, that's all handled really great in the cartoon. Here, it's just that again, they're trying to make her sympathetic, and I don't like that. It's Azula is supposed to be, she's kind of the chief antagonist. She's kind of the Darth Vader of the show. She's the
Mhm.
Darth Vader of the show, whereas Ozai is the Palpatine, so to speak. But neither of them have redemption arcs. That's part of what makes them interesting. But Azula here is just like you said, bratty. She's just kind of a bratty teen, and it's annoying.
Yeah, and I had a thought because I think a lot of what you see on social media, them wanting to make this gay narrative around her and Ty Lee. And
I don't think I was saying that.
no, not you. I'm saying on
Oh,
social media.
I thought you said something I was saying. I was like, I don't think I said that.
No, not at all. I'm saying I see that narrative, and as I'm thinking about the relationships, and that's what I was saying to Vex with the whole with that Frozen thing when that lady who was doing the Star Wars acting like shit. I was
Mm.
like, man, I was like, you see those themes and you see how they've evolved. and it's like they slowly, which we've always accepted them, but they leaned into what it's become today. And I said how a sister relationship has evolved into a lesbian relationship. So they normalized it by saying two girls love each other, and then it's evolved more to they love each other. And but besides this relationship, it
Wait,
could be something more.
who said that about Azula and Ty Lee though?
Okay, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm
Okay.
saying
Oh.
because of that, I see the same parallel with Avatar, where they would say when May and Ty Lee, mainly Ty Lee, was always flattering Azula, like what is it, like complimenting her. And in the cartoon, I felt like it was because they respected her, but they also were trying to ensure that they had that position. Like we know not to get on her bad
Well,
side.
yeah, on Qatar in the cartoon, it's mostly fear that drives their. I mean,
Yes,
Ty Lee's kind of chipper in general, but she most of the time it's like I mean, you kind of just want to stay on Azula's good side because she's a maniac. She's a freaking
yes. So
psychopath.
so you saw that in the cartoon. And I'm like, that's why Ty Lee, she's just the more vibrant, the more like that type of bubbly one.
Mhm.
So they're trying to make that and her and Azula like this whole gay thing. And I'm like, no, they was complimenting because, like you said, out of fear, but I think it was a respect. Like they knew who she
So
was
people
and the
online
connection.
have attempted to suggest that about the cartoon. I've never seen that before.
Yes, but
Uh,
what I was trying to say with the parallel is it went from that I would say sisterly relationship with that one because she did enjoy Azula. She was tired of her. What was she like? The quintuplet. She had like other sisters, and Azula was different.
well,
And
yeah. Well, I
then
mean, Azula at the very least valued her talents. Granted,
yes,
Azula's a
but
awful friend, but she valued her talents.
I think she was very protective of them. And you could argue whether she actually liked them. I think she really liked Zuko, but it was more so you won't let me manipulate you. Now you triggered something else, but I don't think she just knew how to really love them. Anyway, what I'm trying to say, real quick, that parallel, how I got here is it went from that sisterly, I think, relationship that they had and people trying to make it gay to where now in this one, it's not even a gay thing yet, but as far as the Netflix show, I'm saying it's more of a. It seems like Azula is like that. I don't say she's going like depressed or like she's all sad and because her father is not choosing her, he's choosing the son or treating him differently. And they're like trying to cheer her up. You get what I'm saying? It's more of that.
Well, I mean, it's
That seems
honestly,
like just bratty girls.
well, I mean, yeah, I guess I find it difficult at this point, or even I guess with what I know with the rest of this season to really get a grasp on any sort of dynamic they're going for. I mean, they do a little bit of the they're a bit afraid of Azula thing in this, but I don't think they've justified it at all yet because I don't think they've shown Azula to be all that fearful. I mean, they've shown her in training sessions go a little bit overboard, but honestly, I don't think those scenes have been particularly effective.
Yeah,
Um, Mostly because I don't think her personality I don't think she has much of a personality yet other than like, "Oh, my dad's not accepting me," or "It's not good enough, blah, blah, blah," and I'm like, it's this I think they've undermined Azula's character so much by attempting really poorly to make her sympathetic, uh, that it's really difficult to get a grasp on the dynamic between her and her friends. Because I mean, her friends really have not really been characterized yet. They're really
yeah,
just there. Those actresses are really just there carrying the names that we're familiar with. We don't really know a ton about them yet,
yeah,
which is part of what's so clunky about them being there. Is it's like okay, we get who they're supposed to be, but you haven't really done anything with their characters, so they're just kind of there. I don't really care about them yet. I mean, granted, I don't really care about any of these characters yet. They're all pretty much done poorly, but I mean, them especially. They haven't done anything other than show them on the sidelines trying to prop up Azula when she's feeling a bit down, I guess. And that's
yeah,
that's literally about all they do in the show. Is there's a
yeah,
couple of instances where they have scenes where, "Oh, Azula, you're perfect. You're great." It's like, "All right. Thanks.
yeah.
Thank you for your contribution."
All right, ugly face soccer. And Aang is talking about the spirit world. Let's say you sounded a lot more confident before. About what? About I forgot what they were talking about. Trying to get to the spirit world.
Yeah, they're basically they're coming to this area where you've got the statues, and I think this is where he is starting to realize, oh, okay, this is a shrine to Heibai, and uh he he kind of just gets the idea to start communicating with the spirits, like, oh, I'm the bridge between the two worlds. And I'm like, did you actually learn that already? But whatever,
Yeah,
okay, fine. uh
he just tries.
and he starts doing his long form meditation to try to connect with the spirit realm, and then he finally does. I was not I thought this was silly that he brought them with him somehow.
Yeah,
I thought that was really goofy how it's like, how did this happen to us? It's like, oh, I guess the field of my power was, I don't know its limits, or something like that. And I'm like, what? How does that? It's like, I would need a little bit more to explain how you could spirit more than just yourself away. Because obviously in the show, Heibai takes Sokka,
yeah,
and Katara's left in the village, and she's kind of managing what's going on there. And there's a lot you can do with that, by the way. You could have, Katara having to deal with one thing, Sokka being kind of the person who's has to be fetched, and Aang trying to balance these two things out. And I'm like, ugh.
yeah. As you say, the Katara could have stayed back in the village like they had her doing the cartoon, but also now you put this little girl in there, so that could have been like, the Hey about take Sokka. So now both of them are concerned about their brothers that have just left. So that would have been some character from somebody that's just there in this village, which I think the show, the cartoon does a better job of that, adding these sub characters in there for something that just kind of like happens while they're there on that journey. And yeah, it's I see why they did it though as we get to the coast stuff, but at the same time, I don't think you needed both characters there.
Yeah, I mean, and even if you were dead set on bringing both of them along, it's like, well, then you have Heibai come grab them both. Then just have Heibai grab both of them, because Aang being able to spirit both of them away with him, that could create some issues down the line. With him, it's like, because obviously I would assume there's other times where you're going to have Aang going into the spirit world. It's like, okay, well, I guess you won't be able to ever have anyone nearby him, because he'll just take them with him, won't he? It's like, that's what you've established here.
Yeah,
That's a little strange.
that's something else that I thought about because when they're at the that northern water temple and he goes into the spirit world, um that's when Zuko takes his body because Katara was unable to defend him. So they
Hmm.
do something weird here. I think it's in the same episode where I was like, okay, we're gonna have issues later on if that happens again.
Yeah, it's just they're not paying a lot. They're not they're it's convenient mechanics that they'll probably never revisit. Yeah, it's the barrier of his power. I'm like, dude, what the heck does that even mean? That's silly. Come on.
Hmm.
But they just wanted him to take them with him. And it's like, all right, whatever. And of course, you got Zuko and Iroh here, who are on the trail for them, asking some questions, trying to figure out what these people know. Uh, you can keep
This
scrubbing.
this
Yeah.
is something else, more issues because we were talking about like the show is trying to be serious, so
Hmm.
you can't do something like get away with not wearing like costumes or different clothing. In this one, I think you would easily be seen, spotted, figured out because when they entered Omashu with Jet, they had to put on different clothing to hide who they were. And in the cartoon, when they went to the Fire Nation, they were walking around with their Water
Well,
Nation
the
clothes
problem well,
on.
the problem here, and this is part of the problem with the dialogue being kind of rushed, and um like I said earlier, I'm fairly certain we've experienced a time jump here, and I don't think they've done a good job making it clear. I really didn't realize it till watching the episode the second time, because they do make mention of the fact that right now they're closer to the Fire Nation, and this place has been more or less subdued by the Fire Nation. So that's probably why it's like, okay, they don't need to change clothes. They're not really in a place where they'd have to worry about Earthbenders coming after them. It's just because the dialogue hasn't done a good job establishing that they're a ways away from Amashu at this point. It's such a jarring jolt time wise that I'm like, okay, you can get away with it if you explain that a little bit more, but you haven't done a great job making that exactly clear. It's there, so I can't totally fault them, but it's done a bit sloppy. It's done a bit sloppy. But yeah, he's trying, and this is another way in which they show that time jump, because they're all talking like, "Oh, I heard this thing from these pirates," and they're like, "Well, I actually heard these things from those canyon people,"
Oh
and it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
that's where he says all that there, and Zuko starts to despair that, oh no, everybody's heard of the Avatar. We're never gonna catch him. Everyone's gonna be after him, and let's see, I'm trying to remember what this encounter was all about, but
This is June. This guy ran out of nowhere with his
yeah.
hands tied up.
Oh yeah, and okay, so this is where June gets introduced. Which, June, they got the look right,
Mm-hmm.
They got the look of her right. That's cool. I did think it was a little weird that she told the guy, don't die. I only get half if you die, and I'm like, I mean, in the cartoon, I don't think the sheer shoe she rides, I don't think there was ever really a danger of its toxin killing anybody. I think because that thing does that attack on Appa like several times, and he obviously didn't die. It's more like a nerve agent that puts you down, but
Yeah,
I
I get what
wouldn't
you're
think
saying,
it's
but
fatal.
Appa was a a huge ungulate though,
True,
so
true.
as
It's like,
opposed to little
is it
people.
is it like morphine? It's like it's like too much and you're going down. I mean, maybe, sure, but I'm like, wow, one hit. Wow, I'd be careful with that thing then. I
Yeah.
might go for hog tying them before I'd let that thing attack him if there's a chance it'll die. Just saying.
Um. Well, we did see her only hit everyone once, and apparently in this one, nah, because he was running, so apparently he wasn't toxified. Anyway, maybe if it like wraps the tongue around and really digs the spines in, so just a little whip is just you know.
Yeah, maybe if it gets a little too friendly with all the licking, it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You gotta leave that dude alone. You're gonna put him down completely. Don't be doing that.
Okay, so in the cartoon they do work with the pirates. They try to, they hire the pirates to help them find Aang and Sokka Katara. So in here, I'm assuming they didn't have that. I don't know. I'm trying to make sense of it, but because he didn't do it here in this show, it adds validity to his character when he questions working with a mercenary. When he's saying like, no, the Fire Nation has a way of doing things. Like even out here, we're still a Fire Nation. So I'm like, it shows his reluctance to hire Junes for help, which I still feel like that shouldn't have been the move to make. But
Well, I mean, it's not. I don't mind it at first because it's in character for him. Zuko's a bit younger, and would probably be just the type to see mercenaries as, it's like, they're thugs and they're just in it for the money, and it's like that. I don't mind that about him. That's
yeah,
pretty, for a royal youth, that sounds about right. Iroh obviously in very awful fashion tries to teach him like, oh, I was watching these people use Pai Sho and these unorthodox methods, and that showed me that you should use an unorthodox method. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's
oh, I'm glad you said that. That was
that's
terrible.
that's so bad. It's like, you just say it. It's like you could literally say that in that first little bit of dialogue and say, Zuko, I mean, literally when he's saying, that he doesn't want to use a mercenary, it's like, Zuko, out here, things are different. They can't all be done one certain way. You have to be unorthodox. You don't have to, say, oh, I was watching a Pai Sho, or say, you know what I noticed? Da, 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 da. It's like, that's stupid.
Yeah, I don't think
that's so dumb.
I don't know in what version he says it. I'm sure in the animation, but what was it? He was like there's a forward, a retreat, and a neutral one when you don't make a move at all. I don't know what show I'm referencing. I think it's this though, but it's like he used the game of Pai Sho to explain tactics, and here it takes away from his character even more, because he's getting his tail whooped in Pai Sho from these like hoodlums from these ghetto people, village people, when it takes away from his him being a general, him being a strategist, keeping his composure. He's just like, I just lost all my money in there basically. And I'm like, bruh, again, that's just taking away from his character that they didn't have to do. They could have explained it some other way, but yeah, I didn't like that. Long story short. What was that? The footsteps that he saw, or let me see the owl.
Yeah, they've brought in Wang Shitong for some reason. This is pretty poorly written dialogue here because he literally says no human. It's like no human is supposed to be in this realm, and then when he's like, basically when he figures out he can understand them, but Sokka and Katara can't. He's like, well, of course you. He's like, well, of course you can. Or the Avatar, you were meant to have one foot in the spirit. And I'm like, you just said no human. It's like write your dialogue better, people. It's like that's bad dialogue. It's like you can have him just have the owl say they're not supposed to be here. That's all you have to write that way.
Put the criteria on the human, like, because Gyatso is clearly there. He has a little cottage in the forest and everything.
Well, it's fine with Gyatso because Gyatso's dead. It's like Gyatso is a spirit, so it's like that's one thing. But literally, the fact that he's like no human is supposed to be here. He says that, then he says, "Well, no, you're supposed to have one foot in." And I'm like, that's bad dialogue right there.
Yeah.
It's like write it a little bit more consistently. It's like it's annoying when your characters say contradictory things within 20 seconds of each other. I don't know why they've brought this spirit in. I mean, I honestly seeing Wang Shitong here was not fully disappointing because I don't want there to be another season of this, but I know there is going to be one. But I'm like, why are you bringing this character in now when his introduction in season 2 is actually really, really cool? Are you telling the audience, by the way, we're not going to do that episode? It's like, that's probably not the best idea. I think most people would like to see the library episode. That's a great episode.
And that's a feat for Toph. Yeah, everybody references that when she has to, choose between the sandbenders and keep up the whole library. So that shows us her power. And then Aang being pissed because she let him go. Right, but I could also see them at the same time, bringing this character back, and he's like, "Oh, so it seems the Avatar was able to survive cold. Maybe you are worth teaching or whatever." And so now it's like, oh, okay, just give him the knowledge, and you probably don't have to worry about him chasing them out of the library and that
potentially
like something like that.
I mean, you obviously could do a little bit of like if he sees him again, it's like, oh, he's familiar with him, but at the same time, it's like, why is he in both worlds at once? That's I mean, we'll see how that dynamic works if they can if they can fix that. But I guess part of me questions it because there is something that happens in this episode with a spirit that they come back to later, which makes me curious about whether Wang Shitong would have the same form. But that's for later, and because y'all haven't seen that episode yet. But
he'll say, "I said humans weren't supposed to be in the spirit world. I didn't say spirits couldn't go to their world."
Yeah,
and then we'll see him. He'll just have a fucking library selling books.
But the other little bad, and by bad I mean awful, little bit of dialogue, because he's telling him how dangerous this place will be for them, and how y'all have got to stay on the path. Or it's like to go off would be very dangerous, and it's like, okay, what kind of danger? It's like, oh, okay, so there's gonna be some kind of spirit creature stuff or whatever. And he's like, if you go off path, you will have to face the truth. It's like, what? It's like, okay. That's not exactly scary. I would have worded that differently. I would say I would have more just said, because given what the episode goes for, I would more say that it like basically that the place maybe taps into your deepest fears or something like that. Just saying it will show you the truth. Dun dun dun. It's like, that's not scary, really. I know you'll present it in a way which is meant to be scary, but I would have worded that a lot different to actually build up something ominous with your audience, because that doesn't come off as ominous.
Yes, and I think he should have actually said the fog. That way, Aang could kind of warn them, so like the audience knows, okay, beware of the fog. But then we see them end up in it, and they don't like understand. So we're like,
Yeah.
oh snap, they're in the fog. So it's like we have some thought of it being not real. Um. So yeah, but
Or
then
you could create
also,
little tiny fog creatures that are spooky and evil. And he's like, beware the foggets. That'd be fun.
okay. But also he said stay on the path. And I'm like, they did that, but then Haybot came out. So it's like the path wasn't safe either. So
I do get that Mike has been the truth is scary. I get that, but I mean, as far as communicating to your audience a danger, that's horrible dialogue. Most people, when they hear that, they're like, well, if you stray off the path, you're going to have to see the truth. It's like that. I mean, because inherently, yes, the truth is scary for some people, but I think most of us know inherently that the truth is a good thing, not a bad thing. And given what's happening in this episode, it's like what's really happening is that they're being shown their greatest fears and things they despair over. It's like using the word despair is a lot more effective than saying the truth.
you know what? At the same time, though, what the fog did show them was stuff that they've already revealed and shown that they've been hurt by
Yeah.
in the show. So it's not like suddenly revealing anything.
Yeah, and honestly, the things they show in particular with Sokka and Katara, um, it's not they're not. I mean, the thing with Sokka, I thought was really strange because I was like, are they tapping into a memory or are they showing him something he didn't hear? That's a bit odd, I thought. And with Katara, they basically replayed her mother's death in her mind, and I'm like, that wasn't something she was in denial over. That's not really revealing the truth. She hasn't denied that her mother died, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. And then even
So
with the soccer stuff, I mean, it wasn't the truth because he told Tails father, like, yeah, my dad doesn't like this, he doesn't approve, think of him as a warrior. So it's like, okay, you already know that. And I think maybe if they would have, how could they have handled that? Like shown, like had some negative thoughts, like if you would have just done this person would have been saved. Then it like adds this guilt on it. Um
well, instead of doing what they've been doing this whole episode and completely crapping on Sokka and Katara's dad, which has been just utterly just like grating to witness. I hate how they've treated their dad. Their dad is basic. I mean, they've made him borderline a villain, which really sucks. Um, and he hasn't even been around to where we can see his side of things. I mean, it's like I hate what they're doing with him. What they probably should have done is rather than show them quote unquote the truth, you show a visual manifestation solely of what they're afraid of, basically a false representation of things. Basically their worst fear of what this or that meant, not what actually is. It's like
yeah,
basically put them in a situation where they're seeing things and it's like, is this true or not? Don't know, but it is what they're most scared of being true. Don't show Sokka that and tell him that this is actually the truth. It's like show him what he saw and be like, this is what you're afraid is true, that you are a failure, that you're not a warrior, that you can't protect anyone, or that kind of stuff. It's like do
yeah.
something like that. It's like, no, we're gonna use this place to further crap on Sokka and Katara's dad. It's like, screw you all.
Oh
Seriously,
yeah.
screw you all.
So it introduced Bato. Like we're not even there yet in this show.
Nah, we're not there yet.
But yeah,
We're
that was disappointing to see.
yeah, this is one
What's
of
that?
the yeah, this is where we get more of May and May and Ty Lee, and they're a bit spooked out because she was beating up the trainer, and
Oh, I'm
uh,
glad, bro. It was terrible. Like, do I want to risk it playing a little bit of it
I mean,
when
probably
she's
get away with a few seconds, but if you want,
like she's supposed to be this amazing, like calculated warrior, and this is more like brattiness that I see
yeah,
when she's like when she has him on the ground. And right here, when she just starts like hitting him like a like a chick, a ghetto chick, or whatever, just a female like that. I'm
oh
just
my
trying-
gosh.
Azula should be on her feet right now, controlled, calm, cool, and collected, and having this dude fearing for his life, and she just
it's
just threw a tantrum.
they achieved her her desire for perfection in one moment in the show. It took them one moment to pull that off. They show her doing a firebending demonstration in front of those two old lady twins, and they're like they said almost perfect, just one hair out of place, and she says almost isn't good enough, and she starts over. It's all it needed. That's all it needed. Here, that's like, no, we've got to make her bratty, and we've got to completely change the dynamic between her and her dad. It's I'm amazed how quickly they ruined Azula, but as far as I'm concerned, she's ruined. She's a completely different character and not remotely compelling.
Yeah, she doesn't have sharp nails either.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and this is that really awful pie show analogy that he gives. It's so cringe.
Yeah.
But yeah, their minds are open to new ideas. It's like this whole little diatribe about pie show and blah blah blah, and it's like, from that I learned that if you do the same thing, we can capture the avatar or whatever. It's like, dude, shut up. Stop. Stop talking. Cut this part out of the episode. It's stupid. But again, kudos for the June casting. That chick, the looks right. She's a good-looking lady. She's older than I thought too. She's actually about 40. She looks good for 40.
Yeah,
or close to 40.
This uncle hasn't been funny the whole time or shown any lightheartedness, but I mean, you could have easily gotten away with him saying, well, we're running out of options, and she has the means to find them. If everyone knowing is like a concern, and then like, and I'm tired of looking at your face or the have like some type of joke, some dig at his nephew.
I mean, if you remember in the cartoon, one of the funniest little exchanges from season 1 is when they hire June, and like Zuko's like, because obviously Zuko in the cartoon's a little more practical in his approach. He's like, hey, we're going to use her to find him because whatever, she's the best. I mean, it's like he doesn't have the issue with using a bounty hunter because he's just being a little more practical minded, which again, I don't necessarily think it's bad either which way. It's just they don't achieve the other way well here. But the funny exchange they're missing here is like Iroh's like, plus we'll pay your weight in gold, and she's like, make it your weight and we have a deal, and he's like, haha, you got it. And I'm like, that's funny. I liked that. But Iroh has nothing even approaching that level of a sense of humor.
Yeah. Did we find out what the tracks were?
Yeah, it's like I guess that's supposed to be Hey Bye.
Regular panda tracks?
I suppose, yeah.
I don't know. I can't tell if that's a panda's paw. Makes no sense. So when did he get angry?
Well, that's kind of the weird thing with because I mean, granted, we haven't gotten to the part where they introduce Ko, but this is part of the problem with meshing all of this together. Is obviously in the cartoon you have Hey Bye's the one taking the spirits, and that's the one like Aang has to calm that spirit in order to save the people. Here, it's like I'm not sure what I mean. It's like I guess Hey Bye's the one who's bringing them, but then Ko's the one who's catching them. I'm like, well. So is Hey Bye delivering these people to a monster who's going to eat them? That's do I want to feel sorry for Hey Bye then? That sounds pretty horrible. It's like,
yeah, I didn't make that
really awful.
I didn't make that connection. I don't think that's what's happening.
Well, I don't think that's what they want you to think, but that kind of is what's happening. Because he is the one who's bringing them, and Ko's the one who has all of them. It's like, y'all have inadvertently made this forest spirit kind of evil.
Yeah, I would say maybe just because now he's becoming a dark spirit. Like they did that in Korra where the spirit started turning evil, but that was because of what was his name? Vishnu or whatever. But anyway, I'm saying okay, not thinking about he's bringing souls to Ko. Okay, then I'm thinking, well, okay, he just became angry for some reason, or what is the reason that he's angry? Because if those were his paw prints that we just saw,
Well,
they
we
were
know why. Well,
walking.
we know why Heibai's angry because the forest got burned down.
No, I'm saying in this moment, if he
Mm.
was just a panda and he was just walking by them or around them normally, calm, invisible, then out of nowhere he just turns to this freak.
Mhm.
So it's like, what triggered that? Like the forest is already burned. So if he's mad, he
I mean,
should
I
be
get the
mad.
sense that he's
Oh,
just hostile until that's fixed, which I'm not necessarily mad at that dynamic of it. It's more just
but
it's
I'm saying
the
if he was hostile, then we wouldn't have seen those calm footprints
yeah.
if those were his.
Well, maybe I mean it could be that the presence of humans makes him hostile or something like that.
Okay.
He's like, oh, I see humans, and humans are the ones who did this. Yeah, they get angry because of climate change. uh, but yeah, it's just this is to me the whole like the fact that they've meshed this with Ko, I think was a terrible idea. It's like I said, they've inadvertently made uh the Heibai spirit like it's one thing to be morally dubious, it's another thing to be doing something to be basically responsible for, human death and suffering. That's a little less easy to reconcile with.
Yeah.
So I'm like, gosh, y'all kind of turned Heibai into a bad guy, and you didn't mean to, and you're all not gonna act like he's a bad guy, but if you put a little thought into it, he
Yeah.
totally is. It's kind of messed up.
I mean, this right here, this spirit is a new spirit.
Okay, so I can't say what I know about this, but later in the show, you're gonna find out that this is really, really stupid. Like
Okay.
this is unbelievably stupid. This whole like it's not stupid here because you don't know what's going on,
Yeah.
but later when you find out what this little fox thing is, it's like, oh my gosh, this is so idiotic. It's so dumb. I had actually forgotten before rewatching the episode that this was a thing, and I was like, "Oh no!"
Okay. So I said this is either not going to show up again, and it's just to show you, okay, different types of spirits, or it's gonna turn into some chick that is crushing on Sokka.
You're in the right realm.
Okay.
You're in the realm of you're right on the cusp of it.
All right. I'm excited. I want to see what happens with this one.
Oh man.
Yeah, I know I'm furry adjacent.
He speaks spirit furry. That's
I
how
wouldn't
he
mind
knew.
if she appeared human with the tails popping out at the same time. Oh, the ears too. Never mind. Let's keep going. You should go. Hope you can recombobulate. Oh, she's like, oh, you're so funny. You're charming. I hope you don't die. I hope you make it out.
Which, but again, when you find out what this is, like, it's bad on so many levels.
All right. Well,
Because
tell
like
me
what?
after the
Because
stream.
once you learn who this spirit is, you're like, gosh, why didn't you help him? It's like you just kind of left him there. That's kind of messed up.
What?
Hope you're okay. It's like, oh, you couldn't have put him back on the path or anything? All right.
Tell me on the private chat, or just tell me later. Is it a made up character or is it somebody from the show?
It's someone from the show.
Oh, okay. I'm lost now. I have no idea. All right, they're in the fog, people. This is the truth being revealed to Qatar. Now I like
I
how
did
what
tell you in the
happened.
private chat if you're interested to know.
Let me look.
I was like,
Oh, okay. So I thought that, but
it's incredibly convenient. It's incredibly
okay.
convenient that that's just happened to be there. I'm like, oh, okay. That's
So is
interesting.
it actually that person
Yes, it is actually that person. She can
and
do
she's
that.
aware of it later? Okay.
No, she this is a power she has, and she remembers him from here. It's like, what? And
Okay.
you didn't lead him out of the fog? It's like, okay, you could apparently come here and do this thing. You couldn't lead him out of the fog. You're not in danger when you go in the fog. How does that work? uh,
Oh man.
it's stupid. It's really stupid.
Okay. Okay. I've been looking all over for you. Okay, so what's happening now is just showing her mother, and she thinks she's there. She's there chilling with the. Okay, so this is when the Fire Nation came and attacked her.
Yeah, and this is kind of like this is why I thought they probably should have gone. They should have gone with the idea of showing them not what actually happened, but kind of a version of the events that they fear. That they fear, like basically a version of events where whatever happened looks like it was their fault, or it's not the real version. It's just like their most despairing version of things. And that puts them in a state of utmost despair to where it's like, oh, this is all my fault. And that's how Ko uses that against them. But yeah, they really are just showing you what happened. And I'm like, well, Katara knows this happened already. So what do you mean? It's like, it's not really showing, again, you're not showing her the truth. You're showing her, she hasn't denied this.
Yeah.
She's kind of talked a lot about what happened to her mother. This is not something she's in denial over.
So with that, and Sokka's story though, it shows the boys like saying that not liking him, he would have failed, and he was like, "Oh, you did terrible. Like, if you passed with that, I hate to see what you would have let happen if you would have failed." They didn't show any of that negativity from the other older boys when we first see them in episode 1. So that's just it's just here for here's sake.
Yeah.
But that's not carried over to their introduction or his the dynamic, how the other boys feel about him, or why did or you're only in charge because your dad favors you, some shit like that.
Yeah, yeah, like you don't have to crap on the father to achieve Sokka's fear here. You could have had it to where it's like you only passed because you could have made it something where it's like the other people in the water tribe who give him this fear. You only passed because your dad's in charge, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've not only crapped on Sokka's father, but again, I don't like the idea of Sokka's not a great warrior. Oh, he's supposed to be something else because and that is a ongoing theme of this season is what everyone expects from you versus what you are, and I'm like, it's not good because it's like it's being incredibly dismissive of the idea of expectations. I'm like, look, I know not all expectations are good or reasonable, but some
Yeah.
expectations are there and are good because we're supposed it's like you should teach young people, look, you need to be selfless. Sometimes it's not about you. Sometimes what you want isn't the best thing, isn't the right thing, and you do need to listen to people and their expectations of you. Some expectations are good. Some are good.
Yeah, to see that, because then I'm not trying to mix up both of the shows here, but how it talks about when he was talking to Teo's father and was saying his dad didn't like that he was, he thought more than he actually fought, which I can understand that mentality, but we know that was not the Lakota that
Mhm.
we knew from the cartoon. Whereas if you would have put it on the other boys in the village that think, okay, you're only in charge because your dad was in charge, like you don't earn it, you're not deserving of it. And like you said, like show some of that here, but then show that moment where or he has to and with Zuko as well, Azula never had to like prove that in the cartoon. Like she was about the business. She was perfect. Everybody knew, oh, you deserve it. But if you would have showed that from Sokka and like him rise to the occasion, okay, he is a great warrior, he is a great leader, because of his smarts, because of his intelligence. But yeah, they don't have to show the dad like really hating on that, or you get what I'm saying, man. I hope he gets that moment in this show, and it should have happened season 1. I'm not thinking it is going to happen though, but
Hmm.
okay. Anyway.
But yeah, they show this moment where her mom dies, which it's what sucks is in isolation, the scene itself showing her mother dying is pretty good. But the context they've shown it in is just ineffective. I don't like the context with which they've actually displayed this scene as a memory, like as some memory she's in denial over. Because again, they've established she hasn't been in denial over it. It feels like just forced backstory when you could have utilized the scene later on and much better. But
Oh,
again, in isolation, if you take the context out of it, it's pretty effective. It's pretty good.
yes. Now this next part, this is what I liked. I didn't like how they mashed all this together, But the way they did this with Cole was, I loved it. So
Little Stephen King's It there.
yeah, I was like, it made me think of that, which that was cool. That I like that. And so Sokka's gonna get the same treatment.
Yeah, which we've kind of gone over. We kind of went over it out of order, but whatever, it's fine. um, but yeah, he's getting kind of the same treatment, and what's so bizarre about this is, did he actually overhear his dad and um uh shoot, I'm blanking on his dad's friend's name. Haku?
Bato.
Bato, bleh. Bato, and it's like, did he actually in his childhood overhear them saying that he was uh that he wasn't up for it, or is that something that the spirit world revealed to him that I wasn't sure about? I thought that was a little weird that the spirit world could pull that off, because that's basically, it's like almost putting, it's like that means you could kind of go into the spirit world and overhear parts of conversations you didn't previously hear. That would be like, oh, you could abuse that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was like, I'll operate on the assumption that he heard this in his childhood also, but at the same time, I hate how much they're crapping on the dad.
Yeah. So relationship, that's all messed up. But Cole, also hate he's not stealing their faces.
No, he's just flat out eating them.
Yeah, which they're nerfing him.
Well, it's like, guys, I know eating them is a little bit more strange, a little more final, but the face stealing thing in the show is much creepier. Because
Yes.
it's like, it's bizarre. It's like there's something odd and kind of otherworldly about it in the way it's utilized, where he keeps changing the faces to those. And I'm like, guys, that's creepier. That's a lot
Yeah.
freakier.
Yeah, in a way it's worse than death. Be
Yeah,
trapped
it's like
death.
that's pretty freaky. Like, that's pretty freaky. The idea of being, it's like you're still alive, but your face is gone. It's like, ooh, I don't know about that. That sounds awful. But, and also, while I like the look they've got for Ko here, I really don't like the voice actor at all. I believe that the original voice actor is Phil Lamar from the cartoon.
Okay.
And Phil Lamar is an outstanding voice actor. He's genuinely outstanding. He's actually, it's funny enough, if it's Phil Lamar, if I'm not mistaken, he's actually been a comedic actor. I think he was on Mad TV for a little while.
He was.
He's got a small role in Pulp Fiction. He's the guy who gets his head blown off by John Travolta. But he's got an excellent voice. I mean, he is a fantastic voice actor, and because he just has this calm, creepy coolness that he instills into Ko. It's excellent. And like I said, Ko was my introduction into Avatar: The Last Airbender. He's kind of like, I've always had a soft spot for this character and the performance by him, because it's like, this sold me on watching the show. It was really, really great. So I have always been disappointed by the fact that, or at least I am disappointed by the fact that he was done so poorly here. I'm checking to make sure it is Phil Lamar, but I mean, regardless, I don't like the voice.
I didn't see a problem with the voice. Vex, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. You know, you a wild little something. So hope you having fun. Vex. I didn't have a problem with the voice. I don't remember. I definitely got to go back and watch the original episode and listen for Phil Lamar. But I did like this. My issue was the Avatar having this built-in resistance. I felt like that was
If I had to
flat
guess,
armor.
if I had to guess, Vex was referring to someone else.
Okay.
That is my guess. That's what I'm guessing. So apparently, I'm guessing someone else did that.
Yeah, I'm assuming. But that's a fine piece. Oh, you're talking about his show. Yeah, I didn't like that the Avatar had that built-in resistance to it, and he could emote. Because again, man, you're talking about what's creepy and what's not. The fact that you have this kid and you tell him he can't make a facial expression, like I think Cole would have got my face. I'm very expressive without knowing it. I would have tried to put my little my little monk shirt,
Well,
my
and
little
shoot, well,
monk
they've
crop
kind
top
of
over
taken
my
they've
face.
taken the emotion, they've taken the emote uh element out of him completely. Apparently, if he only can capture you if you're in great despair,
Yeah,
which sucks because I'm like, there's what's excellent about that scene in the cartoon is the fact that Aang is not allowed to be expressive around him. He has to go stone faced. Uh,
and
so
just accept the
there's this
information.
excellent tension in that scene to where it's like he has to be calm. He can't look scared. He can't get overly excited in any way, shape, or form. It's like the Avatar is in genuine danger around this spirit, just like anybody
Yeah,
else would be. And I'm like, ooh, it's a good scene. Here, it's just he has as long as he doesn't despair, he's fine. It's like what?
yeah. I think
The weird thing is he does run from him, and then as soon as he's out of his cave, I guess he's fine. It's like what?
yeah. Well, in the cartoon, there was a moment where Aang did mess up and he emoted. He was surprised, but Ko
Yeah, but he
wasn't.
managed. But of course, he did it. He did it when his face was turned.
Yeah, yeah,
So
and then Cole was like, "Ooh, I got him," and then no, he went back to the stone face. So like it shows that that tension, like you cannot get caught moving. I guess moving your face like an inch or whatever because it's gone. I wonder what happens to the avatar though if the avatar then gets his or her face stolen. But anyway,
I'm guessing it's just. I mean, the question would be, does that count as death, and he gets recycled, or I don't know.
but it wasn't because your soul is still there.
Yeah, it's
It's trapped.
that's the
It didn't.
question: is what
Yeah,
happens? It's like, do they just wait for death, and everyone's got basically has no avatar for a long time?
yeah. All
Do
right,
we
let me get some
recommend
info.
this, Vex? I don't know. How much would you want to punish yourself? This show's
So yeah, I
terrible.
recommend this.
This show's genuinely terrible, Vex. I'm the one on the panel who's actually already watched the whole thing. So, I rate the show overall a 3 out of 10. It's awful. It's a terrible show. Has
Vex is
some small merits, but it's a terrible show.
it's different, but I think if you're not gonna get into the cartoon, then
The
maybe don't
cartoon I
watch it.
recommend if you've never seen it though.
But she said it's not for her. Like I don't think she's interested in getting into it.
Well, she said she's into pain.
Yeah, for this adaptation, the actual show is not pain. It's nothing but bliss.
But yes,
Thanks for
I
playing.
give this a 3 out of 10, which on my scale means it is terrible with some merit.
Vex, you gotta watch it because we're gonna need a top for the next season, and they've made Topps people Indian. Um,
Gotcha.
and
She
sure,
gets
you're
the
not.
appeal, but it's not her thing as far as the cartoon. I get that. I get that.
Vex, the cartoon was meant to me at first too, because I would just see it come on, but after like actually sitting paying attention to the episodes, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back and watch all of this.
There's not enough scavengers raining in it. That's the problem.
Okay, okay. There is a lot of that though.
I don't know. I haven't seen Scavengers Reign yet, but I know
Oh, I thought you
that's
meant.
no. That's I'm just alluding to I want to say her favorite anime of last year.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought you were saying little brown people stealing shit running through the city. I was like, you got Jet, you know. Anyway, yeah, let me hear
I
Cole.
would say this, Vex, though, if you have only watched season 1, 2 is where it goes from good to great. But again, if it's not your thing, it's like I mean, I would say if you can't get into season 1, I don't know if you would get into the rest, but it
Is she
does
talking
get
about
better
Avatar?
after that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh man, it's pretty great.
But if you
Season
don't
one.
get, I'd say if you don't get into the cartoon, the live action is just painful. Like you remember all the bad stuff about Dune '84, all the bad acting and the horrible pacing, and yeah, this is that on Spice.
Vex, hold on, hold on. I would suggest you do watch it because then we could have that panelist that hasn't seen the cartoon. So when we have those questions of like, okay, this is how the character is supposed to be. Do you get that from this show? Did this show accomplish that? Then we can have that opinion. If she's willing to put herself through it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, this is Cole. This is the face stealer. Okay. I mean, that's kind of spooky.
Mysterious whirring.
Distant laugh. Let's hear the laugh.
What have we here? Someone who can resist? That can't be possible. Unless...
Now I think Ko here is voiced by George Takei, which might be why I don't like the voice that much. I don't think that works.
No, she said she can't stream this late on a Friday. We'll figure something out. It's probably a year from now, whenever we do season 2.
I was wrong. The original one is not Phil Lamar. It's a fellow named Eric Dellums, but I had not heard of him. I thought it was Phil Lamar because he sounded like some of his other voice performances, but he does a great job.
I don't recall hearing Phil Lamar, but now I have to.
Well, Phil Lamar, I know, does voice work on. I'm pretty sure he's done voice work. I know he's done a ton of voice work on other cartoons and games and stuff like that. But no, he was not Ko on the animated one. That was Eric Dellums.
Okay. All right, Vex. Well, we're this is a spoiler. I guess I should have put that up. Oh, I had put this on there. I never put it up. This banner. We are a diverse group of BOCs, benders of color, in our safe space where no Fire Nation supremacy is tolerated. So there you go. We had Jana though. We had another brown person and a woman. So
yeah,
it doesn't really hit as hard this time.
But I am the lone whitey.
The lone whitey. That's a new hero. We got a new character. Somebody take that.
Which, given the fact that in this dynamic I am the avatar, that gives me the white savior complex. So
oh my goodness!
I'm down with
all
it.
The power.
I'm down with it.
We're only there to support him in his journey. It's not straight up terrible talking to Dildo. Spoil away. All right, where you're saying Ko. Ko is a face stealer. He's a primal spirit. We're in the spirit world, Vex. And what was I saying? Yeah, so in the actual cartoon, Aang couldn't make a facial expression, or you can't make a facial expression, or Ko will steal your face.
Yeah.
In here, he has a built-in resistance because
you basically, if you like, the only person I can think of in the real world who would have no problem with Ko would be like Billie Eilish, because she just has that one face. And it's like
Kristen Stewart, Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. Well, no, Keanu can be expressive at times.
Keanu would John Wick the shit out of Ko, just shoot him up.
He could. I mean, he could do that. But
he'd be the only one to kill.
He would steal Ko's faces.
Yeah.
But Billie Eilish literally could just, she could hang out with Ko regularly and like he'd never get her face.
She could flash the tits and steal his face. She's still in mine. All right.
Ko the breast stealer.
Of course. It's my old friend, the Avatar.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. All of this is real menacing looking. It's kind of scary.
I don't find it scary because I know he's allowed to emote, and I'm like, I don't see any tension here. Plus, because Ko ultimately tries to chase him down, I'm like, why didn't you just catch him? Why'd you talk to him at all? Like, I really it's like capture him first.
Because there's history.
But what I'm saying is because he tries to catch him. So it's like, okay, so he intends to keep him there. Catch him first and then talk to him after you've caught him. You can do that. You can.
I get what you're saying.
I
was like, but villains have their monologue though, but they usually have the hero like tied
doesn't
up
make it good. That's
or thinking that they can't
there's
get out
a
of
reason the Incredibles, the monologue thing they bring up is effective. It's because they're making fun of it. They're like, oh, you got me monologuing because it's stupid. It's a stupid thing to do. And this show isn't good enough to earn the monologuing trope.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I want to show this part. Ko is something else. I like how they handle this, like visually and whatnot. But Vex, here you go. This is what Ko does.
You've come to return what you stole from me.
I
my
don't know
heterosexuality.
All I want is to find my friends.
I feel sorry for whatever monkey, I guess, encountered Ko and got his face stolen. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. So then I start to ask other questions though. Like, was that a spirit? Because the first spirit in the cartoon that Aang encounters is it's not a mandrill. That was a mandrill. It was a baboon. So the one with
Mhm.
the the brown ones with the black faces.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what? It had to have been a spirit. But then in the cartoon, we do see some monkey thing that has his face stolen. So,
Mhm.
so I'm wondering, can animals emote enough to have their faces taken by Ko, or was it an actual spirit
No idea.
that had its face?
No idea.
Yeah, it was just something I was thinking about.
But this is awfully convenient. He escapes, and the moment he gets out of there, which funny enough, apparently Ko won't chase you if you're outside of the cage, which that's funny. Um, not sure how that works, but whatever. But the
You mean
moment he gets out
out of
of
the
there,
fog?
yeah, it's like, yeah, well, he basically like he's in that cave, he escapes it, and the second he's out of there, okay, Ko stops chasing him. I'm like, oh, okay. But and then the second he gets out of there, boom, there's that cabin he was looking for. It's like, wow, that all fell together really nicely, didn't it?
The cabin thing, I agree with you on, but Ko not chasing him. Since they say he's a primal spirit, um, and this is my issue with Jordan Peterson's, not Jordan Peterson, Jordan Peele's Nope. I said Jordan. Yeah, how did I mix
Jordan
those two
Jordan
up?
Peterson's Nope. I that could be a good movie. It's not
No,
it's
I
not
will not
aliens
use.
in the sky, it's lobsters.
No, it's Jordan Peterson saying I'm not using those pronouns. Nope.
The alien lobsters, like they don't. It's like they're just like clean your room, Bucko.
I had the transsexuals walking after him like on Purge. He's
I know.
just saying like nope and
'Cause I
run.
hated I hated the movie Nope. I thought it was awful. Jordan
Me
Peterson's
too.
Nope. I'd be down with. I want to see that now.
Bro, that's wild.
They
Okay.
steal people into the sky and they teach them the 12 rules for life. And they come back down better
Oh,
men. That'd be great.
all right. We got two different versions of this, but they both sound dope.
Yeah,
Um, clean your spaceship.
exactly.
Uh, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So I'm seeing it as I guess like a trapdoor spider, where they have this like range that they hunt, and they don't want to, open themselves up to attack, be vulnerable to
Well, he's
what's
a
outside of
centipede,
their
so I'm like, what would be the? I guess my issue with it is okay. So Sokka and
the owl.
Katara he messes with in the fog.
Yeah.
So uh, I'm like, is the fog in the cave? It's like how where were they having these visions? Because he could attack them in these visions.
You
It's
mean it's a
just
cave in the
there's
fog?
some wonky mechanics here. It's a little goofy.
I would so that would
It's
be
just
like
it's these vague it's my issue is it's convenient barriers. That's my issue. It's these are very convenient barriers because
yeah,
Sokka and
and this is
Katara don't
me.
get attacked in the cave, they get brought to the cave. Well, if they get brought to the cave, that means they weren't previously in the cave. So I'm like, these are very convenient barriers.
This is me trying to justify it. If there
Don't
was
this
thinking
show doesn't
behind it.
deserve you justifying it. Stop it.
I know. Maybe it was a different team that was like, all
That's
right,
not
y'all gave us
justification. That's
some
you're giving it grace. This show is a sinner. You don't give it grace here
I
until it
got you.
asks. No, it's fine. But
And this man just cheating all out in the open, and Aang accepts it. All right,
let me
just
ask, how
they
did you
stand.
feel about it being Gyatso? Because literally he asks him, "You didn't move on to higher enlightenment?" He's like, "No, because I knew you would need my help." It's like, how did you know you encountered him in the first place? You didn't know what happened to him at all when he disappeared. How did you know he didn't die? I
Maybe he
mean,
had a vision. Maybe
but that's
he
but
just believed.
That's
He just
yeah, and that's
believed.
kind of the problem. This is where this is another one of those moments where you're forced to write the show in your head for them, and there's a
Yeah,
lot of that. Again, this
he
is
just
them
believed.
going for high concepts and just big swing and a miss over and
Yeah.
over again.
Oh man.
If Jordan Peterson had voiced Ko, gosh, that'd been great. That's what we needed.
The hunting ground for Cole, the face stealer. Yeah, man, he got them wrapped up all in web and shit. I'm like, what? They should be faceless right here
Yeah.
until he feed. So it's like, what does he only feed on faces? He just leaves the rest of the body.
Yeah, that's wasteful. What the
That
heck?
is wasteful.
It's horribly wasteful. That's wastus.
What does that mean though? Because it made me think of how bears will they get so full off the salmon that they'll only eat like the skin and maybe like the head and they'll leave a lot of the meat. Again, I know they're not thinking that hard
Oh
about
my
it.
gosh, that's Gosh, don't you bears realize there are starving pandas in Africa? Jeez.
This is my issue again, like I was saying with Nope, though, because they tried to base that creature off of a real animal or use that logic to interact with it, but they didn't go all the way.
Mhm.
Anyway,
But yeah, and oh yeah, this little exchange is one of my. I thought this little exchange they were so funny because one minute he tells him he's basically like Aang's like I have to defeat Ko, and he says Ko cannot be defeated, and then 30 seconds later he says, well, Roku defeated him once, and I'm like, you just said he couldn't be defeated, but now you're telling me the avatar that directly preceded Aang did defeat him. That would be
mhm.
pretty recent. Literally in your lifetime, Gyatso. You don't, I mean, you don't think you could have alluded to that first? He's like, well, he'd be very tough to defeat, but then again, Roku did it. So,
I can
and
I
then
can
it's
understand
like,
if he wouldn't though, because he's a human. Like, sure, he was on that like council of airbender leaders or whatever,
but he did know
but
it. But here's the thing he confirmed it. He's the one who confirmed it.
in
Because, I
this show.
mean, it's like Gyatso is the one who confirmed it. So it's like, okay, he's the one who knows about this. He has this knowledge. So,
Okay, I was about to say, well, I couldn't expect like regular people to know what the Avatar is doing in the spirit world, but at the same time, if
yeah,
he's
it's
bringing it up,
possible he
then
only got this knowledge as a spirit, but that's how Aang's talking to him right now. And it's the fact that it's like this was the avatar that directly preceded Aang. So
yeah.
if anything, it should give you hope that, oh wait, it has been beaten. Not it has been beaten before, and relatively recently even by another avatar. So yeah, I mean you might have something there. It's just poorly constructed dialogue. It's where you write one thing and then you put yourself in a mini hole and you write yourself out of it 30 seconds later and you're like, why did you put yourself in that hole to begin with? It's
It
silly.
makes me want to see the dialogue because I don't remember him saying that exactly. Um, I remember the
It was one of those things that I didn't notice the first time, and then I heard it the second time. I was like, okay, wait, rewind that, and I rewound it, and I was like, yep, he just said that. That's
so
goofy.
maybe what I'm thinking of when I say that he didn't there was like elaboration that he didn't defeat him, he took something from it. Maybe I'm thinking of what Roku said in the next episode.
Possibly, but no, as far as the way it's written here, it's just not written well.
Speaking of that, since we're not on the next episode, but I was like, dang, they did it to Azula, but now they did it to Ko. At first, he was just a primal spirit, but now they making him like a mommy's boy. And you took the picture of my mommy. I'm mad at you. Give it back.
Yeah,
And
yeah, which
somebody says he's looking for what we all want, love or some shit. I was like, what? What are
mm,
we doing
I'm like,
with this?
no. Uh,
Okay,
I just
he
the show
wants
the
what we
show is
all want.
really working overtime to where nothing is really evil. It's like he's only mostly evil. It's like, gosh.
Cole wanted the statue of his mother. That was just so funny to me, man. And that character just loses all respect. But, but, and you know what? There is a way that they could have done that though, because now I'm thinking about like Norse mythology and how they was having like these, like Fenrir and
Well, all you got to do is change the motivation. You turn off the whole. It's like move away from, oh, he wants it because of love. It's like no, go. It's like go with a different motivation for why he wants this object. But here's my bigger issue is, okay, Aang's leaving them behind to, you know, you'd think I mean, I mean, they don't. I guess they don't fully say how long this takes, but he's gonna be gone for a little while. It's like you're leaving them with a spirit who's planning on eating them. It's like the fact that he didn't at least mull over some potentially quicker solutions, because I'm like, dude, you don't even know by the time you get back they might already be dead. I mean, it's just the sense of urgency is not there. And I'm sad to say it's not really there the rest, for the following episode, which closes this arc up. But yeah, it's just like I would be really worried, like, oh my gosh, it's like I have to leave and I have no idea if they're going to be okay when I get back. It's like that there should be some weight to this decision. That's just not
Yeah.
there.
So in the cartoon, it was just Sokka was taken to the spirit world. Aang was trying to figure this out.
Yeah, and he
Now
was taken
it's
by Heibai, so you're like, he's just taken. He's not in any like other. He's
yeah,
not
he's
in
just
danger otherwise, really.
yeah, as far as we know. But here they're clearly in his dungeon. He's about to eat. He just lost you, so now he's probably even more pissed and probably going to your friends first to make
And
you
not even
pay.
just. It's like, okay, and even if you were like, okay, well, maybe he won't eat them by the time you get back. It's like, well, he's gonna eat some people by the while you're gone. So you're losing. It's
Mhm.
like, so even if you're like, if you justify him saving them, which big spoiler, he's gonna save them. It's like you realize people are dying while you're gone. That should weigh on you a bit. Like, I need to hurry the heck up, because people are gonna die to this horrible monster while I'm gone, and that's awful. It's like that there should be some gravity to this situation, and it's just not. It's not there. It's just not there.
Okay, so this is what confused me when you said he left them with the Heibai. I didn't see him leaving them to the Heibai. I
Oh
see
no, I'm
him
talking
putting the
about in
acorn.
in in the cartoon. That's what I was referring to.
Okay, well here he just leaves them out in the open,
Mhm.
and he puts a little acorn, and Heibai calms
Yeah,
down.
yeah. What I
But
was saying,
okay,
I was referring to the cartoon where uh Aang is saving them from Heibai, but Heibai is not. Heibai's in the spirit world, and uh, the people that he's kidnapped are not otherwise in danger. They're just taken. They're like possessions. You don't even really see what he's doing with them, but you don't get the impression that he's doing anything awful. Aang
he
leaving them
still
with
though.
Ko, it's like we've established pretty clearly that Ko plans on feeding on these people. And if you're leaving them, it's like, oh, well, he's probably going to eat people while you're gone. So
Yeah,
that could include your friends. You better hurry the heck up because you don't know how long he waits.
yeah. Now with this one, I just had to laugh. So he leaves their bodies. Which again, man, in the cartoon, I guess that's why another reason I was making that comparison earlier. When he went into the spirit world, Katara tried to defend him
Mhm.
from Zuko, who was trying to take his body while he was in the spirit world. So your body is in danger.
Yeah.
He decides to fly to a whole nother fucking continent
Yeah.
and leave their body there in the forest when any goddamn moose lion, some type of bear. So he tells Appa to stay there and like
Yeah.
protect
I
them.
mean, and I'm like, okay, they have at least established two things to semi-justify it. Yes, leaving Appa to defend them. I'm like, okay, it's a little bit there. Okay, fine. And
Okay, that's their
they have
physical
they have
bodies
said they're
taken care of.
close to the Fire Nation here. My issue though is Aang knows exactly where to go already. Like knows location wise and everything. I know exactly where I need to go. Uh, Whereas in the show when they have to go to Roku's Island, it's like, well, they have that on a map. It's like Aang's 12.
I thought I thought the dragon showed them too, right?
In the show, yeah, the dragon showed him, but obviously they're still following a map to get there. He shows him the location. I mean, a 12-year-old's not going to remember directions that clearly, I wouldn't think.
Yeah.
Having a map really helps. And I'm like, Aang knowing that in borderline intuitively is, he's a kid. I don't know if I quite buy that, but whatever. It's like there's a litany of issues with the show, and that's like not super high on the list, but it's a mild annoyance.
All right.
It's
So he
more
tell.
I'm much more bothered by the lack of urgency and the lack of weight they've put on this decision where Aang's going to have to leave his friends and leave all these people behind. Several of them, they like literally it should be established like while I'm gone, I'm going to lose we're going to lose people. So I better get moving. But nope, they gloss over that entirely, and
Yeah,
it's pretty silly.
we won't say nothing if y'all don't. Is what they're saying for
Pretty
the audience.
much.
I think is this where the guy's speaking up?
Yeah,
No, I
this
don't
is
know.
where because earlier in the episode, it's like Azula suggested sending the archers to support Admiral Zhao, and they arrive. They made them all women, so there you go. And I'm not. I was like, It's one of those things where it's like, am I complaining too much? No, women can be archers. That's fine. They were men in the previous one. It's not even a mix
Yeah,
this time. It's like they were all men. Now they're all women. It's like I I tend to think their reasoning was, motivated by a certain something, but whatever. It's not that
yeah.
big a deal. It really isn't that big a deal. It's just, I chuckled a little bit when I saw it. I was like, I know what you're all up to, but
Agreed. It's a
it's not
product
so
of the
overt to where
times.
it's not even actually a flaw. It's just, you can kind of think behind the scenes, like, I know what you're all doing here.
Yeah, these are all women groups.
Yeah.
I remember watching and seeing it in The Walking Dead. It's like, how the fuck do y'all just have this little forest village of women and just that contrived? They just right into the plot. Yeah, all the men decided to leave and got killed. So now we're just here
Hmm.
and we've become the Amazonians. We think we're
Gosh.
lesbians. We've been lesbians the whole time. Thank you, Negan, for getting those un- unuseful, good for nothing, dumb men. All right. I mean, do you have thoughts on this episode? We're almost at 2 hour
I
mark.
I mean, it's it's not a good episode. It's one of the it's almost its badness is like not incredibly overt at times. It's definitely the kind of episode where what's bad about it you do have to think about. Which granted, I mean I've been training my mind to think about this stuff a lot over the last several months, so I'm getting more and more used to it. But it's the kind of episode where if somebody told me they liked it, I wouldn't be that surprised, and would be
Yeah.
kind of forgiving of it because it's trying some interesting ideas. Um, it's just it's just and most people don't think about the mechanics of how this stuff works. Most people just watch, they decide on the fly, I don't like, and then they kind of move on to the next thing. They're just more catching the story beats, and the story beats, like I said, those can be interesting. It's just once you pay attention to the details, you're like, gosh, this is executed really poorly.
Mhm.
Uh, but again, it's hard for me not to pay attention to those details. So I do think it's a bad episode. It's not as offensively bad as like the last couple of episodes, but it's still pretty bad. Like it's not one that I would rate highly at all. So
Yeah, I think it definitely suffers from mashing all of the spirit stuff together. And even from what you said to me about adding another layer of spiritness into that,
well,
yeah, man.
okay, I have to commend at least the IMDb audience because this is among the lowest rated episodes. So, hey, good on you, audience.
Okay, well, I know.
Granted, they rate the next audience. They rate the next episode as the best, and it's kind of the closing arc to this. So they're wrong on that one, but at the very least, I'll give them a little bit of credit for catching what's wrong with this. But yeah, there you go. The next episode, guys, is apparently the best one.
Well, I have no choice but to watch it now. But I already saw the Roku stuff.
Yeah. So
What
I think
took you
what is
so
it?
long?
There's 3 episodes left in this season.
Deadline shows up in everything now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, do y'all have nothing else? Is it AI? Is AI writing these for y'all? Because I'm not really seeing any flavor, any variation, any artistry.
Gosh, if yeah, I'll say this: if AI is writing this show, I ain't worried about AI at all. I wouldn't be worried about AI taking over anytime soon if this is what they're writing.
Yeah. All right, man. I got nothing else to say. I really wish Jana would. I can't waste my wishes. I only get 3. It would have been cool if Jana would have been here tonight.
I can see where the headache came from. You know,
Oh my goodness.
this episode could put you into that the migraine fog.
Yeah, man, I understand
Jana
completely.
was attacked by foggets.
As I was messaging y'all, I was feeling it. But the next episode to play, and I guess because this is a part one, and I was like, hold on, I need to see how this little arc comes to an end, but I couldn't get through it. But I think
If
that's
you're
why I was so
hoping for
intrigued.
some great confrontation between Aang and Ko, it ain't happening. I'll just tell you that. It ain't happening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
Tell me
if you're
tell me
hoping
after
the
the stream.
resolution to the Ko thing is a cool confrontation, it's not. It is
My mind is just wondering. I can't see how you could do it any other way.
I thought the same. I thought, okay, well, and it was as as the next episode played out more and more, I was like, are they gonna have time for this resolution between him and Ko, or are they gonna stretch it to episode 3? And it ends so abruptly that I was like, that's it? Are you all serious right now?
All right, I'm watching it.
That's all it is? I
I'm
was like,
watching it as
what
soon as
the
we get off.
heck?
That's exciting, but I like the whole Pennywise thing, man. It's
It's
whew.
clearly what they were going for. That is clearly what they were going for. They were
Yeah.
definitely trying to tap into the Pennywise vibe. No question about it.
We'll see what happens with the animation, the continuation. Is it a movie? Whatever. I keep saying forgetting what it's supposed to be, but I'm excited to see that, man. I want to see these characters a little older by
It'll
the
be
actual Avatar creators and what that'll be.
But yeah, it's it's not going to get much better from here. I'm sorry. It's just not going to get much better.
Okay, it'll get better in book 2 and book 3.
Sure.
We get spicy Zuko.
Yeah.
Flamboyant Zuko. I like
Okay.
that he's holding his own in a fight. Who did he fight? Was it June? He fought somebody, and
Did he fight June? I don't think he fought anyone in this episode, did he?
he
I
fought
don't
somebody without bending.
I don't recall if he fought in this episode.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember. Maybe it was the next episode.
Which means that he might have, but it was that unmemorable. But I know he fought Aang without bending, but that was the last episode. Or the
Bro,
one before that, I guess.
Did you see that clip I sent you? It was hilarious. When they were in that city with the perfume and June and
Yes.
yes, and he was like, I think I got some feeling. Oh man, all of that is lost. It is lost. It's hilarious to think about.
The charm, the characters. It's all gone.
Oh man.
It's but Netflix, let Netflix please. I don't want to make fun of the young actress playing May because she is young. Get her a personal trainer. Because that girl is going to be, if this show is going to go on for 3 seasons, that girl is going to come under some serious scrutiny. Because she's going to come, if she's not of age now, which I'm pretty sure she's either almost of age or a little bit after that. I don't want to make fun of a young girl who's a little bit overweight. Get the girl a personal trainer. My gosh, it sticks out so much that May is so slight. You know, this girl's not
Man,
at
I don't
all
think you can
that.
take away that face meat.
Yeah, she's currently she'll be 18 later this year. So she's underage right now. So I'm like, I don't want to make fun of this girl at all. She's young. She's a kid.
Yeah.
Get the girl a trainer. Come on. Help this girl out. People are going to be making fun of this girl the more you show her.
Yeah.
I mean, like seriously, it's
we're gonna be fat phobic.
Yeah.
I'd
rather not go there. I'd rather not go there. She's a kid.
All right, y'all. This is the of Iroh. Okay, he's really digging on June.
Yeah.
He's a man. Okay.
Yeah.
This is not. We don't see this in this episode. I think it's in the next one where we see more of the June stuff. But this is what we should be getting from him and her. And instead, she's the opposite. She's the more dominant one. That's another thing. You had Suki and Sokka, how she was all over him, and now we have June really flirting with Uncle Iroh. Anyway,
Yeah, it's weird because obviously, and it's like, okay, the first time she makes a little crack about him being cute, I was like, okay, I figured she just meant it ironically, but in the next episode she does it again and it's more flirtatious. I'm like,
yeah,
what? I was like, no, that doesn't. I'm sorry, that doesn't make any sense at all. Because I'm like, he's an old man and he's a big old man, and she's a really good looking lady. I'm like, that doesn't make sense at all. That's
Oldman.
yeah, he's
Ego,
an
you
old
watching
man.
this? You watching this stuff, man? I don't think he's. I don't know.
But
He's
Iroh
a
being
mixed
really
bag.
flirtatious towards her is really funny, and it's like, yeah, of course he would be. She's a young, gorgeous woman who's pretty awesome, and he's like, huh, very impressed. And I'm like, okay, I
Yeah.
get that you're not gonna do the scene where she's laying on top of him paralyzed and he's like, shh, like it's, I'm like, I
This
get
is
why today you're not going to do that scene, but I'm like, that's pretty funny.
some old dudes have game.
I understand that. He doesn't. He
Y'all,
definitely
this is the
doesn't.
Iroh. This is the Iroh we're missing.
Uncle, I didn't see you get hit with the tongue.
Dun dun.
That's the Iroh
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
missing, man.
Yeah, Mike, this old man has about as much game as a Special Olympics basketball player. Less even.
Oh snap!
I'm sorry. It ain't there.
This one has money though. He gets points for that.
He doesn't. Yeah. Well, they don't. I mean, they don't even allude to them having money to dish around. Well, I guess Zuko gave a little bit of money to the bar guy, but
Yeah, he did.
all the same, it's the dynamic between him and June in this show. It's like, oh, it's kind of weird. I mean, I get that you're trying. I guess they're trying to give June the agency in that. And I'm like, guys, it wasn't a real relationship. You can make it to where Iroh's like, oh, she's hot. That's okay, because that's realistic.
Yeah,
Like the
just one
guys
little
looking at
comment.
June and we're like, yeah, she's hot. Women looking at Iroh and not like, ooh, yeah, that's a sweet piece of man candy.
Man,
That's
later,
they're not thinking that. I don't see that.
later on they are. I was thinking that when he breathed the fire.
Yeah, when he gets all fit out of prison, yeah, I could maybe see that. But how much you want to bet that doesn't happen in this show?
Man, they've shown some cool stuff with the bending. I guess mainly the fire.
Yeah, I mean the bending fights are, again, those are actually pretty decent in this show. There wasn't a lot of that in this episode. This episode probably had the least bit of fighting.
Yeah.
In which, granted, I'm not mad about that. I mean, it's the foray into the spirit world, so that makes a lot of sense. But they still would have needed to get all that stuff right to make the rest of the episode good, and they didn't. So,
Well, man, for some reason I have hope. I think we will see the dragon breathing fire. I really think they're gonna turn Zuko up because he's giving me gay energy. I'm picking it up. So I think they're gonna exalt him skill wise
flame on.
once he allows himself to come out of the closet and be his true self. When he finds that other source of power.
Well, he is hanging out with somebody named June, and that is Pride Month, so.
Oh my goodness, it's gonna bring the most out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. At first, it was chasing Avatar. Now he realized he's a strong, independent zesty that don't need no man. He's non-binary. That's what it is. Anyway, all right, we're past 2 hours.
Princess Z Zurko.
Yeah. And Maya's gonna accept him, and she's gonna like live your truth. That's fine. I'm here on this journey.
Yeah.
I'll be here. Whatever you decide. Or I use the pronouns, whatever you decide. She's like, you don't have to think about it yet. It can wait. Oh man. All right. Gord, we're gone.
All right. That's it, everybody. We did it.
Yeah. Y'all can have Toonami, of course.
Subscribe here. Go to my channel. Do it there. All the
I'm sorry.
things.
Let's
We're
do
doing
that. Let's do that.
shows. We got
Yeah.
stuff.
Do that. Do the actual YouTube the outro. Plug your stuff. What's
Oh,
happening? Where's the people here?
Sunday, I am going to be on Fermented Cinema's channel. He's on vacation in Hawaii right now, and he's streaming from there. And we're going to be talking 2 volcano movies: the Tommy Lee Jones film Volcano from 1997, and also from 97, Dante's Peak. And then Tuesday on my own channel, myself and a few guests, we are going to be doing a March Madness themed sports movie tournament. So that'll be a lot of fun. So you can check that out on my channel, The Gourd King. That's it.
I'm dropping it now. I had to look for it. There you go. Gourd.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Whoever you are, please subscribe to this dude. He knows what he's talking about. I was watching the Beetlejuice y'all stream, and I still haven't seen the trailer. Beetlejuice 2.
Yeah, it's a tiny little teaser. It doesn't really reveal much, but I'm hoping it's gonna be good. I have such a deep affection for, Tim Burton's Beetlejuice. It was the first film I ever watched in theaters. I love it. So I hope the sequel is good. I think the aesthetic is right. So
Okay.
We'll see. I hope it's good.
Well, that is it, people. We are out. Here you go, Toonami. I loved it. I enjoyed this. Be here for the next one. And watch the goddamn show. Vex, watch the goddamn show. Peace.
Later.
I think it's time we talked about respect, how to earn it, when to give it, and what it's good for.
Nope, not that one. Too soft.
So here's the deal. Life doesn't always want to be your friend. Sometimes it'll feel like life wants to hurt you.
That was a pounder.
But you can't just hide, because nobody likes a quitter.
I'll go first.
You gotta take chances.
This fire isn't gonna stop me.
They never said it was gonna be fun or easy. Whether you're totally ready or when you least expect it, doesn't matter. Life will punch you right in the face.
Your resistance is futile.
Now you can lie there for a second. Cry a little if you need to. But get back on your feet, because it's the getting back up that counts. That's what shows you've got heart. That's what helps keep you going.
Hit me with everything you've got.
Fall down 7 times, get up 8.
I don't want to go down. Not without a fight.
And no, we'll be right there with you.
Wake up. Be all that you can be.
Only Toonami, Adult Swim.
You are not the alpha male. I, Mojo Jojo, am the alpha. It isn't fair. He gets all the girls.
Hey, what if this rainbow doesn't exist and it's just in our imagination?
Believe the rainbow. Taste the rainbow.